I can't believe my husband did this. I ended my affair and my husband started one in 3 years. Life was beautiful when we fell in love with each other, but after marriage I always felt lonely, unloved and unimportant. My husband moved into a different country for his career training. He liked his new place and made good friends and was enjoying his life. I missed him so much and sent him a lot of emails and texts to which he will occasionally reply. I would wait for his call from the time I wake up. He would call up and talk for max 5 to 7 minutes. He has never said miss you but would reply miss you whenever I said or texted sincerely. Then I stopped emailing him and texting him. He didn't even realize that I stopped or ever asked me why. I started believing that he didn't love me. It was at that time I started noticing that one of my male friends was caring a lot about me, appreciated me and gave me good companionship. I felt loved, wanted and felt even like a queen. I started falling in love with him and had an affair with him for 18 months. Golden period. We even had sex for 6 times. I wasn't keen in having a sexual affair, but my affair partner was very interested in sex. My affair partner loved me so much that he wanted to leave his wife and marry me. One day he asked me if I would marry him. I felt very guilty and burdened. I hated myself and felt disgusted with my actions. I felt very sorry for his wife. One day after informing him, I took up responsibility and I met my affair partner's wife at her house and I confessed everything to her from my side, except his thought to marry me. She was furious, hit me with whatever she found in that room, addressed me and my family members with lots of vulgar words and dragged me and literally kicked me out of her house. I deserved it, so I let her do whatever she wanted with me. I was even ready to die. My affair partner ran towards me and asked me to marry him in front of her. I saw her crying bitterly at that. I felt horrible and even more sorry for her. I hated myself. Affair partner was devastated when I chose my husband over him. I ended the affair then and there in 2012. I sent her apology emails for years, and then I stopped in 2016. She would vent out her rage, disgust, and hatred in every reply. I still feel guilty and I owe her my lifetime apology after I met my affair partner's wife and ended the affair. My husband arrived home in 2 days. Surprise visit. I confessed to my husband and was prepared for death or divorce. He'd hit me and addressed me with all unpleasant words in the world. I couldn't speak a word back or look at his face. I deserved it. I asked him to divorce me because that would bring him justice and peace. He refused to divorce me and said that he still loved me and that our child can't be without a mother. He accepted my apology after a week, and this time we all traveled together, shifted our house and started living in the same house. He was miserable for 3 weeks and healed after 5 months. I couldn't bear to see him suffer, all because of my selfish actions. I felt like setting fire to myself whenever I thought of the suffering I gave to my husband and my affair partner's wife. I destroyed their happiness. It's been 8 years now after I ended my affair. I still feel guilty. I still pray for my affair partner's wife's happiness and peace. For the past 8 years I often felt guilty, apologized, and thanked my husband for accepting me back. Miraculously, my marriage life went back to normal within 6 months after my affair. Husband never brought this up even at worst scenarios. But he never changed a bit. Even if lived under the same roof, I still felt lonely, unwanted, no companionship. Our relationship was void. Still, I had devoted my heart and body to my husband and remained worthy of his love and trust. I was feeling grateful. We were leading a happy life until I found about his affair recently. I never check my husband's phone at all. 3 months ago, my phone ran out of battery, and so I used his phone without his permission to take a video of my little child. Second child born in 2016. Singing beautifully. Husband was watching telly in living room. When I checked his gallery, I almost passed out. Saw a lot of videos of a lady giving you know what. There were 4 videos too. I couldn't believe my eyes. I wished earth opened up and swallowed me alive. I felt tremors inside me. Every part of me as a woman got affected. I trembled and I ran into the toilet, sobbed and sobbed. I ended mine and he started one after 3 years. I can't believe that my husband did this to me. He was an idol of true love to me. I lost it. He has been having an affair for the past 4.5 years while I've been feeling guilty and grateful. I felt like a fool. My affair was the first and last thing that I've ever hidden from him. He didn't even bother to confess about his affair. He assumed that I would commit suicide if he had confessed. He confirms that he has left her and will stay loyal to me hereafter, but I am unable to accept his betrayal. He promises never to do this again and will remain faithful to me and a good dad to the children. How am I going to live with this liar? Why did he accept me after my affair in the first place? Fake forgiveness. He could have divorced me. He says it wasn't a revenge, but he gave in to temptation because of greed and lust. I had complications during pregnancy, and we couldn't have sex for 9 months. Could that be the reason? He does watch a lot of porn, but I was not in a place to correct him or say no to him as I was guilty of committing adultery. I feel like a fool now. How can he cheat me when I was pregnant with his child? When was I nursing his child? While I was still feeling guilty even after so many years, I was grateful and worshipped him because he accepted me. When I complained about loneliness, he always assured that he isn't expressive as I am, but still, he loved me and that he will never leave me. He called us soulmates in perfect marriage. He was always happy. He kept saying that I was the only woman in his life. Then why did he multiply and give his suffering back to me? 4.5 years affair with his colleague and 56 videos from every meeting. A full-blown sexual affair. He says that they never loved each other, but were together for sex. I feel suicidal all the time. He is asking me for a chance and is feeling bad for cheating me, but I'm nowhere near forgiveness or acceptance. I'm unable to accept it. The videos are constantly playing in my mind. I am very sad and stuck. Became mad too. Should I continue in this marriage, or should I leave and stay single? What will happen to my children if I leave? I am a dependent housewife, so I have to start my life from basic if I leave. Story 2. I never thought I would be on the receiving end of this. First and foremost, we are not married. We were in a 4-year relationship. When I found out everything, I ended it this week. It has been 1.5 years since I left, and about 8 months since I left the States. This whole time she has told me she has been living at a friend's family house. This is what happened. Before joining, we spent close to every day together, and we did almost everything together. We both had high sexual drives. I came home to visit for major holidays, and she would visit me when she could. At first, I thought she had stopped finding me as attractive because she didn't like to have sex as much as we used to. She wouldn't be as wet right before we would do it. And it was mostly me initiating. She told me about her boss that she thought was a creeper, and he had always had a crush on her. When she came to visit me when I was in the States, I would play around taking her phone and she would chase me to get it back. I didn't think much of it, but I was a little concerned that she was trying to hide something. Finally, one day I did this and asked her what she had to hide, and I saw that she was texting him close to every day, and that she had called him babe in a conversation. I confronted her and she said it was a silly thing they did, and he called her babe and she just played along. Finally, I leave the States and I asked her if she wanted to end it because I didn't think long distance would work. She insisted we stay together. I told her we could have an open relationship or a break. She declined this with the worry that I would see other people and we would never get back together. I start seeing pictures on social media, Facebook, Instagram, of her hanging around this guy in our group of friends. I start to become concerned. She says he's just a really good friend. I see that some pictures on Instagram are geotagged at his house, researched where he lived. I ask her if she ever goes to his house, and she tells me that sometimes she babysits for him. And I ask, hey, why? She says it's extra money. She comes to visit me where I am overseas for a week. At this point, I think we have a good thing going. I played the game where I snatch her phone and walk around with it. She is very desperate to get the phone back. So, on a different day, I do the same thing, and I go into the bathroom with it for 5 seconds. I see that she has a lot of messages from him and that she has FaceTimed him while she has been here. When she left, I took a guess at her Facebook password and was able to log into it. She has Facebook messages from this guy wondering why she has left. He says maybe she is not the person he thought she was. She is telling him very elaborate lies in this message about why she left, and that I am her ex and thought she only saw me one day when I invited her to go somewhere. I didn't know how to confront this. I see she is still messaging him while she's on the plane. I sent her screenshots his messages. She tells me she's so sorry and that nothing has happened and that she has led him on. I tell her to stay away from him and she agrees. Finally, I think that maybe I am suffering from dementia and that I may be really paranoid, so I drop it. Until I see that she is hanging around him again in pictures. She tells me that he just happened to be there. And another time I found out he is at the same party as her. She tells me the party is at a friend's house. He posts a picture of her and him at the gym. She says he was just there at the same time she was. I start confronting her on what's really going on. She tells me lies that nothing is. I look up her phone's location and see that she is at his house. I ask her why she was over there, and she tells me that she just went there to hang out for a bit. The next day she is at his house right after she gets off her overnight shift. She is there for a long time sleeping. I ask her why she was there. She tells me that sometimes she hangs out with him and watches shows, and she fell asleep. Finally, I cannot take this anymore. I start messaging a guy friend of mine I know hangs out with the group. He tells me she's been lying to me the whole time and that she's been living with the guy. I confront her and she denies this. I analyze the photo of the party that she was at, and I see pictures of the guy's kids and him in the background. I confront her and keep asking her until she finally confesses. She tells me she's only living there because she had no other option. I asked her why she never told me about this or put me in the decision process. I still think she's lying. So I message the guy and tell him I just want answers. He tells me that she tells him that she loves him, that they have sex, and that she's been living there for the last 10 months. She confesses to everything but says she only wants to be with me. I am no saint. I have had sex with 2 ladies while I've been here, but none of them have been emotional relationships, and they've meant nothing. I felt really guilty after the first, and stopped being social with people. I have told her this. I was putting a hold on marriage, because I didn't think we were ready, but she has lied to me about everything. I feel like I don't know her, but I also feel like this is my fault. I never thought I had to worry about her, and I always gave her the benefit of the doubt. I should have given her more attention. I go back through my texts to when I leave, and see that she may be a pretty considerable plea around the time she first started having sex with him. I offered her to come live with me in the past, but she's not willing to drop everything. She's scared. When she came and visited me, we had sex, and she went back to living with him after that. She says they didn't talk for 2 weeks. She told me the last time they had sex was last month. She also says that she only started living with him since the summer. So right now, the dust is settling. I still want to be with her, but I want her to come over here. Am I crazy? What is wrong with me? I had doubts in my head that I still wanted to see what else was out there. But now I just think that I was so stupid, and I was taking her for granted. She hasn't been at his house since I found out. She's staying at her family's an hour and a half away this weekend because one of them is really sick about to die. I am really close to her family. I told her to tell her dad what happened, so he can help her move everything out. I don't think she can do this by herself. She says that it can't be right away because of the person she is there for. She also says she is very mad at me and she isn't moving out to live back with her family because of me. I'm sorry for the horribly long post. I have been asking myself why she has done this. How could she do this? What we had was very special. All the lies she told. She told because she was afraid to lose me. I really don't know how her head got so twisted that she thought that was okay. I don't know why or how you can be with 2 people. I guess I want her because I want what we had. After this bombshell was placed on my shoulders, I realized that I may have taken our relationship for granted and I can't picture life without her. I didn't give her much attention. That was my fault. Everything was perfect before the long distance. I couldn't have asked her to be a better lover or companion. I still love her. Shay tells me that I'm the person she always pictured herself being with in the long run. The biggest question is why can't I just drop it and move on? Why do I love her still? I want to fix us and I want to work on this together. It will take a lot of time, but if she is willing to drop everything for me and physically be with me to try to work on it, then I have to extend the courtesy. How do I make this work? Also, I know that we are not married. You don't have to be married to someone to have the same obligations or promises to each other. She is just a girlfriend, and I personally have been putting marriage off because of how people treat it these days. Marriage has lost its value. Comments. You don't seem like you have much to lose by trying to make it work with her long distance. Apparently, you are young if you end up wasting another 6 months of your life. And she turns out to be a serial cheater and pathological liar. You can easily recover, but certainly you don't want to waste your time with someone who continues to lie to you if you can help it. If you do give her another chance, I don't have much advice for you other than to be aware and do not accept any nonsensical answers like I just ran into him at the mall or he just was invited to the same party as me. Also, take every precaution not to get her pregnant. Also, I would recommend not getting too obsessive about monitoring her whereabouts. Do it every so often. But don't let it take over your life. And if she shows any signs of cheating, then dump her. Don't bring up the fact that you are monitoring her. Just do it, and if she violates your agreement, changes passwords, lies about where she is, sees other man and doesn't tell you about it, just dump her. Don't waste any more breath trying to reason with a liar. She is so bad at cheating and covering her tracks that you will be able to detect it very easily going forward. She doesn't seem very bright when it comes to hiding it, and I suspect that won't change. You wanted to have a more relaxed relationship while you were separated, and she said she didn't want to. Then did it anyway. And so did you? Why did she live with that guy for so long? Anyway, it seems like she could have lived with her parents or with a friend, but she chose to live with him. Why? OP responds, I don't send her money because she's in financial stress, but I'm willing to pay her bills while she is living with me if she cannot find work. With my job, if I marry her, she will be able to fly anywhere I am for free. And it will alleviate a lot of our problems. I'm not saying I am going to marry her anytime soon. We will work our problems out together, and if we come to a point where we can trust each other mutually and are very satisfied with each other, then I might pop the question. Edit, she's also wearied of living with me because she wants to be established first with a career. This is all very draining. Her ultimate problem is she doesn't want to move back home. She's very independent. However, she said she's willing to move back home given what has happened. Comments. Another emancipated male. Don't feel bad. There are lots of us out there. But life isn't like the movies. The Notebook. You know who wrote that stuff up? Some brilliant people that know how girls gush over that stuff and force their boyfriends to go watch it with them. While the boyfriend is constantly looking at the movie poster called Let's Blow Some Shit Up, Shoot Guns, and Punch People in the Face movie while he sighs in resignation and says, 2 tickets to the Notebook, please. You see, you think you know what chicks want. They want that nice guy that swoons all over them and fights for their love. No matter what. Against all odds. Meanwhile, she's ducking the creeper boss from her work that treats her like crap but makes her sing opera in the sack. No offense, but that's just what it is. Look, you can be a nice guy and get a great and wonderful girl, a loyal one, but you can never ever be a nice guy, putting your women on a pedestal. That just leads to the trouble you're experiencing. Be firm with your boundaries. Know what you want and stand up for your beliefs. And stop being a nice guy. There are plenty of women out there that will be compatible for you, in and out of the sack. Your current one is broken. It's really not that hard, once you look from the outside in. You're just stuck in the box right now, and think this is it. Lots of wonderful women outside that box, if you could only see them. OP, her actions speak clearly. She chooses the I had a girlfriend of a few years. We planned a trip to Ireland. She took me for my passport, clothes, and we planned our itinerary. I called her the night before and her mom told me she left that morning for Ireland with her girlfriend. She lied to me. I was devastated. My dad took my ticket and converted it into a trip to Club Med. His actions showed me I had choices. My girlfriend got home and found out from my parents that I was in Club Med. She was surprised. When I got home, she said it was a misunderstanding and she did not know how to tell me the truth. You would think I learned my lesson, but no. So I go away to the military. Gone for 9 months. She visited me a few times. We missed each other terribly. I get injured and was sent home early. She had no idea and I thought it would be great to surprise her. I stopped by her home and imagined my surprise when I saw her with one of my closest friends. I was devastated. I left. The next day I go back to speak with her. She is out back with 2 of my other friends. She was making out with both. They all go inside. I was pissed. Within the week I found out she was banging 5 of my closest friends, including my best friend. I took care of business with all of them. My GF still wanted to be with me, to get married. Can you imagine what a crappy life I would have had if I chose to be with her? I never spoke to any of them again. I suggest you make the tough decision and never speak to her again, because she has no respect for you, and you can do much better. OP responds. We agreed she would cut him of her life, that she would stay with her parents the whole weekend. We agreed she would leave the location feature on her phone, and that she wouldn't bring up as a date to a wedding. Well, the wedding was last night, and it looks like he was her date. She turned off the location feature on her phone as well. I told her, you really don't want to be with me, do you? And still said she did. Finally, I told her I knew he was her date to the wedding, and she hasn't responded. Should I still talk to her in person when I'm home for the holidays? Should I give her that? I'm prepared to no longer talk to her ever. My comment, don't ever engage her ever again. There are so many people out there, why put yourself in this crap? Did you guys enjoy these revenge affair stories? Comment down below, sub and bell, and prepare yourselves for the next stories.